Everything ended, but nothing was finished. What looked like victory at the end of last season was only the beginning of something darker. The silence you felt in the final moments was not peace. It was a warning. Season 3 does not ask who is right or wrong anymore. It asks who will survive when power finally shows its real face. The world we return to in Season 3 is colder than before. After the chaos of Season 2, the surface looks calm, but underneath, everything is broken. Trust no longer exists in its pure form. Every promise made before now feels weak, and every alliance feels temporary. The people who once felt protected by power now realize that power can disappear overnight. The ending of last season did not bring closure, it created fear. Fear sits in every room, every meeting, every quiet look between characters who once stood together. The rules that once controlled this world are gone, replaced by uncertainty and silent tension. What makes this moment dangerous is not loud conflict, but quiet change. Characters move differently now, they speak less, listen more, and hide their emotions behind controlled expressions. Everyone understands that one wrong move can cost everything. The world of Beauty in Black has shifted from ambition to survival. It is no longer about climbing higher, but about not falling. The luxury, the beauty, the control, all of it still exists, but it feels empty. Like a stage set that could collapse at any moment. Season 3 opens with the weight of consequences. Decisions made in Season 2 are now casting long shadows. Some characters carry guilt they cannot escape, while others carry confidence built on lies. The past refuses to stay buried. It follows them into every room, reminding them that nothing is truly over. This new world is shaped by memory. Every betrayal is remembered, every loss is felt, and every victory comes with a cost that has not yet been paid. The most dangerous change is not visible, it lives inside the characters. Those who once believed they were in control now question themselves. Those who felt powerless have learned patience. Season 3 shows a world where waiting is a weapon, silence becomes strategy. No one rushes anymore because everyone understands how quickly things can collapse. The confidence seen in earlier seasons has been replaced with caution. Smiles feel rehearsed. Conversations feel planned. Even moments of warmth feel suspicious, as if kindness itself might be hiding a purpose. The balance of power is unstable. It shifts without warning, sometimes in a single conversation, sometimes with one unexpected decision. The audience is pulled into this fragile state where every scene feels heavy, and every pause feels intentional. The world no longer moves fast, but it moves deep. Small actions carry big meaning. A look across a room can feel more threatening than a confrontation. This is a world built on pressure, and pressure always finds a way to explode. Season 3 does not reset the story, it tightens it. It pulls the characters closer together, forcing them to face each other in ways they tried to avoid before. There is no escape from the past here. The environment itself feels like a trap. The same spaces that once represented power now feel like cages. Beautiful rooms feel smaller. Expensive silence feels louder. The world after Season 2 is not destroyed, but it is wounded. And wounded worlds are unpredictable emotionally. Season 3 begins with exhaustion, not the kind that comes from losing, but the kind that comes from pretending everything is fine. Characters are tired of performing strength, they are tired of hiding fear. This emotional weight shapes every decision they make. Love feels risky, loyalty feels dangerous. Even honesty feels like a gamble. Everyone is protecting something now, whether it is their image, their power, or their heart. This season explores what happens when people carry too much for too long. The cracks are subtle, but they are there. A steady voice breaks for a moment. A confident step slows down. A character who once spoke boldly now chooses silence. These small changes matter. They show us that the cost of Season 2 has not been paid yet. It is still being collected. Piece by piece, the audience feels this shift immediately. The tone is heavier, more serious, more personal. There is no comfort in knowing how things usually go. The story makes it clear that expectations are dangerous. What happened before cannot protect anyone now. The emotional stakes are higher because the characters know what they stand to lose. And this time, loss feels permanent. Season 3 begins by asking a simple question with a dangerous answer. What happens when everyone knows the truth, but no one can speak it out loud? The world after Season 2 is built on unspoken rules and shared secrets. Everyone is aware that something is coming, but no one knows when or how. That tension becomes the foundation of the season. It sits beneath every scene, making even quiet moments feel intense. This opening phase of the season is about positioning. Characters are not rushing toward action, they are preparing for impact. They are choosing sides without announcing it. They are testing loyalty without asking questions. The audience is invited to watch closely because meaning lives in the details. Nothing is accidental anymore. Every movement feels intentional. Every pause feels loaded. By the end of this section, one thing becomes clear: Season 3 is not about rebuilding what was lost. It is about facing what was created. The world has changed, and there is no return to the way things were. The beauty still exists, but now it hides something darker beneath it. And as the story moves forward, the question is no longer who will rise, the question is who will fall first. Season 3 introduces danger in a way that feels quiet but heavy. This is not a threat that arrives loudly or announces itself. It grows slowly, almost politely, until it controls everything. The power in this season does not come from one person standing in the light. It comes from systems, secrets, and unseen hands moving behind closed doors. What makes this new threat terrifying is that most characters do not realize it is already surrounding them. By the time they sense something is wrong, they are already part of the game. Unlike past seasons, where enemies were clear and personal, this threat feels distant and untouchable. There is no face to fight, no voice to confront. It hides inside rules, expectations, and silent pressure. Characters begin to feel watched, judged, and controlled without knowing exactly by whom. Decisions they once made freely now feel limited. Even powerful characters start to realize that their choices are no longer their own. Someone, somewhere is shaping outcomes long before actions take place. The season shows how fear changes behavior. People start to self-correct, to limit themselves, to avoid risks they once embraced, not because they were told to, but because they sense consequences they cannot see. This kind of threat is smart. It does not need force. It uses awareness. It uses reputation. It uses the fear of being exposed. The danger is not violence, but loss of image, loss of influence, loss of control. What makes this rise so effective is how invisible it is. Conversations stop mid-sentence. Plans change without explanation. Characters begin to doubt their instincts. Trust becomes rare, because everyone suspects that someone else knows more than they do. The audience can feel the tension growing as characters walk carefully, knowing one mistake could destroy everything they have built. This is a world where power punishes quietly and rewards silently. As the season unfolds, it becomes clear that this threat understands human weakness better than any past enemy. It knows ambition, fear, pride, and guilt. It knows exactly which pressure to apply and when to apply it. Characters are not forced into bad choices, they are guided into them. That is what makes this danger so hard to escape. When people believe they are choosing freely, they do not realize they are being controlled. Season 3 uses this rising threat to change the pace of the story. Action is replaced with tension, conflict is replaced with anticipation. The audience is invited to read between the lines, to notice what is not being said. Every quiet moment feels loaded, every calm scene feels temporary. The threat does not rush because it does not need to. Time is on its side. By the end of this section, the message is clear. The biggest danger in Season 3 is not an enemy you can fight. It is a system you are already trapped in, and once you realize it exists, escaping it may cost more than staying inside it. Season 3 is where the characters stop pretending to be who they were and start becoming who they need to be. The pressure from the past seasons finally reshapes them. These changes are not sudden or dramatic. They happen slowly, quietly, and sometimes painfully. You can see it in how they speak, how they listen, and how they react. People who once trusted their instincts now hesitate. People who once followed others now start thinking for themselves. Every character is evolving, not because they want to, but because survival demands it. The main figures in this season no longer move with confidence alone. They move with awareness. Every action is measured. Every word is chosen carefully. Power has taught them a lesson. It never stays loyal. Characters who once believed they were untouchable now understand how fragile their position really is. This realization changes them from the inside. Strength becomes quieter. Authority becomes colder. Emotions are hidden deeper because showing them feels dangerous. One of the most important transformations is the shift from fear to control. Characters who were once reactive begin to take control of their surroundings. Even if it costs them parts of their humanity, they stop asking for permission. They stop explaining themselves. Silence becomes their shield. They learn that showing nothing can be more powerful than saying everything. This change is unsettling because it shows how far they are willing to go to protect what they have left. At the same time, characters who once relied on charm, beauty, or influence begin to lose their advantage. The world no longer rewards appearances alone. It demands strategy. It demands sacrifice. Some characters struggle with this shift, clinging to old versions of themselves that no longer work. This creates tension not just with others, but within themselves. They are caught between who they were and who they must become, and that conflict slowly eats away at them. Loyalty also changes meaning in Season 3. It is no longer about friendship or love, it is about alignment. Characters choose sides based On survival, not emotion, this creates relationships that feel colder but stronger, and bonds that are built on shared risk instead of trust. Betrayal does not always come from enemies. Sometimes it comes from people who believe they are doing the right thing. This makes every relationship feel unstable and unpredictable. Another major transformation is how characters handle guilt. Some carry it quietly, letting it shape their choices. Others bury it under ambition, pretending it does not exist. But guilt always leaves marks. It shows in hesitation, in overreaction, in moments where control slips. Season 3 does not allow characters to escape their past actions. Instead, it forces them to live with them and make decisions under that weight. By the time these transformations fully settle in, the audience realizes that no one is innocent anymore. The lines between good and bad blur until they almost disappear. Characters are no longer defined by what they believe, but by what they are willing to do. This is the true change of Season 3. It is not about becoming stronger or smarter. It is about becoming harder, and once that happens, there is no easy way back. Season 3 moves deeper into a world where truth is no longer something people search for. It is something they avoid. Secrets are not accidents anymore, they are choices. Every character is holding onto something that could destroy them if exposed, and that knowledge shapes every move they make. Conversations feel layered because what is said is never the full story. What matters most is what stays hidden. Silence becomes a form of protection, and lies become tools used to survive. What makes this season different is how old secrets return with new power. Things that once felt buried resurface at the worst possible time. The past refuses to stay quiet. It shows up through memories, documents, unexpected faces, and quiet reminders that no mistake ever truly disappears. Characters realize that time does not erase damage, it only delays it, and when the truth comes back, it does not come gently. It comes with consequences. Lies in Season 3 are not always spoken. Many of them live in behavior, in the way characters avoid certain rooms, certain names, certain questions, in the way they change the subject just a second too early. These subtle moments reveal more than any confession could. The audience begins to understand that the most dangerous lies are the ones people tell themselves. Characters convince themselves that hiding the truth is necessary, that revealing it would cause more harm. But every lie creates distance, and that distance slowly turns into isolation. Hidden truths also reshape relationships. Trust becomes fragile because no one is fully honest. Even moments of closeness feel temporary, like they could break at any second. Characters connect while knowing that one revelation could tear everything apart. This tension adds weight to every interaction. Love feels risky, loyalty feels conditional, and honesty feels almost impossible. The fear of exposure becomes stronger then the desire for connection. Season 3 shows how power feeds on secrets. The more someone knows about another person, the more control they hold. Information becomes currency. A single truth can shift power instantly, turning the strong into the vulnerable. Characters begin to understand that protecting their secrets is just as important as gaining new ones. This creates a world where everyone is both a threat and a target at the same time. As these secrets stack up, the emotional cost becomes clear. Carrying lies is exhausting. Characters grow distant, tense, and guarded. They lose pieces of themselves. While trying to protect their image, some begin to crack under the pressure, making mistakes they never would have before. Others become colder, cutting off emotion to survive. Either way, the truth continues to wait patiently, knowing it will eventually be revealed. By the end of this section, the message of Season 3 is clear. Secrets do not disappear, they grow. And when too many secrets exist in the same space, something always breaks. The question is not whether the truth will come out. The question is who will be standing when it does. Season 3 reveals that the real battles are no longer fought in public. There are no dramatic confrontations or loud power moves anymore. Everything happens quietly, behind doors that never fully close. This is a season where control is exercised through meetings, glances, and decisions made in private rooms. What looks calm on the surface hides constant pressure underneath. Every character understands that the smallest move can shift the balance, so they choose caution over chaos. This silent war is built on strategy, not strength. Characters stop reacting and start planning. They think 3 steps ahead, knowing that one wrong choice could undo years of work. Conversations become careful and layered. Words are chosen not for honesty, but for impact. Even agreement feels dangerous because it can be used later as proof, leverage, or betrayal. Power no longer needs to show itself to be effective. It works best when no one can see it coming. One of the most intense elements of the season is how psychological pressure replaces physical conflict. Characters feel tension without knowing exactly why. They sense shifts in loyalty before they can explain them. A meeting that ends too quickly, a call that never comes, an invitation that suddenly disappears. These small moments create anxiety because they signal change without offering clarity. The war is not about winning loudly. It is about forcing others to doubt themselves. Season 3 also shows how isolation becomes a weapon. Characters are separated emotionally long before they are separated physically. Information is shared selectively. People are kept just close enough to be useful but never close enough to be trusted. This creates an environment where no one feels safe speaking freely. Even allies feel temporary. Everyone assumes that someone else is listening, watching, or waiting for a mistake. The pressure of this hidden war affects every relationship. Partnerships feel strained because both sides are protecting their own interests. Support feels conditional, offered only when it benefits someone else. Characters begin to realize that survival depends on understanding the rules of the silent conflict. Those who cling to old ideas of loyalty and honesty struggle the most. The world no longer rewards openness. It rewards control. What makes this war so dangerous is that there is no clear moment when it starts or ends. It flows constantly, shaping behavior and decisions in subtle ways. Characters wake up already exhausted, knowing the day will require performance, restraint, and calculation. There is no relief because even success feels unstable. Winning one battle only creates new threats. As this section unfolds, it becomes clear that Season 3 is not building toward a single explosion. It is building toward collapse. The pressure inside these closed doors keeps growing, and something cannot stay contained forever. When it finally breaks, it will not be loud, it will be devastating. And the people who believed silence would protect them may be the ones who lose the most.